All right, so I'm not kidding. You guys are gonna want to hit the like button on this video right now. Seriously, right now, because in today's video, I'm gonna share with you the sneakiest man-beating route that you guys could use on the sideline. This is super one-play touchdown potential if your opponent is shading outside to defend corner routes. It's also a one-play touchdown threat if your opponent doesn't keep a deep half over the top. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Sam from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over the smart routed fade stop. Now, this is a route that my customers over on my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg, have been privy to for the last couple of months. And this is a great isolation route that you guys can throw to your outside receivers in spread sets. This is especially good if you're looking for something to make your opponent respect in a 3x1 set, maybe a bunch type set where the solo receiver is not really anything other than a drag or a backside route or a C route for you. This is another route that you guys can utilize to do a pretty good job against man-to-man coverage. And if your opponent does not basically keep a deep zone over the top of that side, it can be a house call for you pretty well if you guys get a good after the catch animation. So let's go ahead and get into how to do this here. For this tip to work, you will want either an outside apprentice, a wide receiver apprentice, or the hot route master to change the route of an outside receiver in a spread type formation. This means that you want your receiver to be on the outside receiving those outside hot routes. So with this particular tip, what I would recommend is if you're getting a cover 1 or a cover 0, this is where this is going to be the most effective. And the route running ability that you guys will want for this is either the short in or the short out. Now, this is going to depend on where your receiver lines up in the formation. I know what you're thinking. You just said it's an outside apprentice route. Don't you want short out for this? Yes, you want the short out for it, but that's only if the receiver is lining up outside the numbers. Sometimes an outside receiver lines up on the numbers and short in can activate on this route as well. So if you guys are labbing this in your own offense, you'll want to test the difference between the two abilities when the ball's on one hash versus the other, because you'll notice something changes if you don't have one ability, or if you don't have both abilities rather, on your receiver. You'll have to play it smart with your roster. So let's go ahead and now break down how this route works. To make this work effectively, all you really want to do is take the outside receiver, put him on a fade stop. This is basically a 10-yard curl by default, but we're going to smart route this up to about 20 yards. Now, this is a route that we've talked about a lot here on the channel in the past because I like its ability to be able to kind of set down against man coverage deep down the field, but also as a route that you guys can throw against zone if somebody's playing zone and kind of, baiting some of the underneath throws. This sits behind a lot of the underneath zones like yellows and purples and cloud flats, and it also sits down in front of the deep zones that are found in most zone coverages. So I really like this route in general. But if you guys have an ability such as short in or short out, you guys will note that you will be able to get this route to light up and it will get an inside pass lead. Now, if you guys are facing a cover 0 type defense, you'll want to make sure that if there is a safety in coverage on the side of that route, that the man that he is guarding is likely on a route as well. So I would send the running back out on a route altogether and block the tight end, or you could use a delay route to the running back just to give yourself time, because you don't want this safety to drift out to the left and double team this route. You want him to run down to the middle of the field, isolating this route even further. So let's go ahead and show you what this route looks like. We're going to snap the ball, and I'm going to wait for the cut, a little free form to the inside, click on and make a catch. Pretty easy inside positioning. Now, I will say that the separation that you get is often going to be dictated by a couple of variables. Where the receiver is exactly on the field kind of changes things. Sometimes you'll notice when you run this to the short side of the field, it may kind of change the separation or the way that the DB plays their leverage. You'll note here that when I run this concept with the receiver all the way out wide, and we're running him as a solo receiver, that you may get a slightly different ability to click on and get better leverage to the inside, and that's with a regular inside pass lead. So hash mark will dictate the type of animation and separation you get as well. But let's look at one that is very, very important, and this is on versus off the line of scrimmage. I wanted to start off with kind of the less impressive version of this here, and I want to show you guys now the one that is going to be a little bit more consistent, and this is when you run a fade stop off the line of scrimmage. You'll notice here that I've run a bunch set and I've got Tyreek Hill motioned out and off the line of scrimmage on this fade stop. This is actually an opportunity for you guys to notice that there is a slightly different cut that you can get, and you can get better click on animations with this as well. Also note that if your opponent starts to get into shading one way or the other, this is going to be really, really rough on them. A lot of players do like to shade outside against bunch sets because they are worried about corner routes. Well, if you have a pre-snap leverage that is shading outside, and this is an inside pass lead, this is going to help you out pretty substantially at being able to potentially roast this man coverage and rack it down the field for the one-play score. So with this particular habit and a lot of players that play man-to-man being worried about corners, this is the perfect route to pair in with this particular scheme, because as you guys know, a lot of players will try to shade their coverage outside in hopes that they can guard a streak corner flat combo, especially one with the motioned out streak. Well, if you can kind of use that same little bait motion, you're going to get a lot of that response in the man-to-man coverage, resulting in the better rack animation down the field and the one-play score if they're sitting in a cover 1 or a cover 0. So this route is truly one of the best man-beating routes for what most players like to do with their man coverage. Again, most players are going to shade their coverage outside. They know this because so many routes, whether it be regular corner routes or the short corner routes from tight end that are very popular out of tight slots right now, or a litany of other routes. Whip routes are good at beating man-to-man, but they'd have to shade down on top of that. In general, a lot of players are worried about getting beat to the outside. They want to force all the action inside towards their user. This is a great tool to be able to counter that. So that is today's video, guys, the smart routed fade stop. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Drop a comment below to let me know what you think of this content. And also be sure to check out our short that is coming out later on this afternoon and my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. We'll be right back here tomorrow with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab, and good luck.